I got my sweet and spicy boneless chicken wings. I'm so fucking excited. I kind of miss working at Zaxby's. I used to work at Zaxby's a long time ago. During my last attempt to get sober, I worked at Zaxby's. And I hated the job so much. I thought it was the worst job in the world. And I didn't like the people that I worked with. I didn't like the music they listened to. And I felt like shit every day because, like, I had lost this other job because I was an alcoholic, and it was a really good job. Well, it was a better job than Zaxby's, let's just say that. I was getting paid more. So that's what made me think it was a better job. But, it was very humbling. And I wanted to quit every day, but I didn't. I just kept it up. And it really, like, taught me, like, how to be patient. You know, so of course Zaxby's has a special place in my heart because of this experience, you know? Because, like, any place where you feel like you grew up, and I think that's probably why I keep going back to Steak and Shake, because I feel like I grew up backbone at Steak and Shake. I didn't have that backbone anywhere else. But, there's this chick, immediately when I walked into Zaxby's, like, there's this chick that used to work at Steak and Shake that was mopping the floor. And I was like, yeah, I still work at Steak and Shake, in case you can't tell. My uniform. Oh, Lord. Sweet and spicy chicken. But I think it's really hard to move on from experiences, you know? And, like, in relation to sobriety, I don't know. I'm never getting sober again. Fuck that shit. That was, like, the worst experience of my life. Mainly because of, like, how much I fucked up. Like, it's okay, though. It's okay. Because it taught me to, you know, not drink anymore. So, that's good, right? Like, the only way that you can get sober is if you hit bottom. And a lot of people refuse to believe that, but it's always going to be in the back of your mind, like, hey, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I can just go back to that shit, you know? The thing is, you can't really hit a bottom with, like, marijuana. Like, what's the bottom of marijuana addiction? Like, God, I knew that I had a problem, you know, when I ate, like, 2 dozen Krispy Kremes. I knew that was time for me to stop. Yeah. I don't know why you talk like that, but yeah, you make it sound like this person's like a chronic chain smoker. Yeah. Well, see, that's what I'm worried about. Like, I'm worried that, like, eventually I'll sound like that. And, you know, since I'm a comic and I do musical comedy and I love to sing, my voice is pretty necessary, you know, so I never want to be somebody who takes anything for granted. And I feel like a lot of times people take things for granted because they don't know how good they have it. And so, you know, when I was younger, I was probably spoiled, you know, because I was adopted by like a suburban white family that was like really, really traditional and boring. And naturally, I feel like I did everything that I could to just get away from that. And what's funny about it is that it's like I end up coming right back to it. I wouldn't say that. I mean, honestly, Amy, I feel like conservatives would probably like get offended by you calling yourself conservative. Well, conservatives aren't supposed to get offended, so if they get offended, they're not really conservative, as far as I'm concerned. But, hold on. There we go. How much time we got? I really don't know. I mean, honestly, though, it doesn't matter. Like, I could take an hour break. I'm sure it'd be fine because the labor's high right now, and we're not busy at all, and we have too many people, so I can eat my fucking chicken. Still know where my phone is, though. That's the problem. It's probably inside, because I left my Hello Kitty backpack inside, so it might be in here. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But yeah, so you guys want to watch me eat some chicken tenders? Because that's eventful, isn't it? It is in my life. Texas toast. Why do they call it Texas toast? I don't know. It's a good question. Does anybody know? Something I was thinking about. I went in to use the restroom when I was waiting for my food. And all these places now have like soap that just comes out. I mean, they've been doing this for a little while with the paper towels, where you just like stick your hand under it, it just comes out. How lazy is society getting? Where like you can't even do this now. Oh my. Too lazy to press a button. Well, we got you. It's kind of absurd. But because literally all you have to do, if you want that soap to come out, all you have to do is just press the little lever. That's all that's involved. But I guess that's like too much for the human race nowadays. Yeah, it's like, I don't know why you're shocked that like people don't do research. I mean, if this is the kind of shit that's being invented because this is how lazy society is getting, that it shouldn't shock you at all. It doesn't shock me. I guess it just depresses me. Because it's like, things could be so much better than they are. I mean, we have amazing technology. And yet, first of all, people don't appreciate it. Second, they don't actually do anything constructive with that technology. There are plenty of people who do, though. That's the thing. There are plenty of people that actually like know how to utilize their resources. But I think that like all the smartphones, the iPhones, all that shit, they need to come with a manual. Like, I don't think that people should like, you know, see, what I'm saying right now, totally communist. It's not fair, you know? Which is why I'm wrong. But this is a joke, folks. This is a joke. Like, personally, I don't think you should be allowed to have a phone unless you're gonna, like, a smartphone. Not just like a regular ass phone. Because a regular ass phone, you know, you contact people with it, right? That was the original intention. Well, now it just seems like people just have a phone to distract themselves from themselves. So, it's sad because it's like, man, like, you're using that phone to distract yourself, buy shit you don't need, say shit you don't need to say. The thing is, though, really the problem that I can see with smartphones and like the advancement of technology is that it's just making everything move way too fast, you know? Like, people have so much information coming at them all the time that, of course, their emotions and their reactions are going to be accelerated because of all this stuff being pushed into their purview. I don't think that's the right word, but whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, at this point, like, nothing's right. You know? Like, everybody's, like, screwing shit up on purpose. You know, it's a lot easier to get what you want if you confuse the fuck out of the person that you're asking. You know? Don't you want that? I know you want to eat at Vortex, but you can't because you're a Vortex. See, I really appreciate food. Really, really appreciate it. Because I think about people that don't get to eat, you know? I think about people that live in countries that are impoverished and they're lucky if they get to eat once a week, you know? And I think about people that live here who, you know, they don't have money to feed their kids because they're too busy buying bags of drugs. So, that sucks too. There are all kinds of problems in the world, y'all. And as many problems as I have, at least I know I gotta make money. I gotta make money so I can eat. I gotta make money so I can pay bills and take care of myself and shit like that. I don't know, a lot of people, and I'm really, really mentally ill, in case y'all didn't know. And so, the fact that I can do that just amazes me. You know, I don't think that's me doing it. I feel like that's a power greater than myself that helps me along. Because it's hard, man. It's hard to keep all your bills straight. And I mean, I don't have children, though. So, if I had children, I feel like it would be a lot harder. But, y'all hear that? There he goes. I didn't film it this time because I think that you've seen that scene enough. Yet another cop rushing to a scene. That's probably not an actual scene, but this is Franklin, and there's nothing better for him to do. That's why they're out and about everywhere you go. Because they don't have actual crime. So they have to like wait around for somebody to accidentally fuck up without realizing it. Like they pulled somebody over last night, and like it was funny because we watched it happen. We watched it happen in the parking lot. Like right across the street it was happening, like where there was one cop that pulled over this dude because he didn't have a headlight. And then almost immediately after that happened, this other cop pulls up. Now I don't know why that they feel threatened by this person that only has one headlight, but I don't think they were black. So, but I find that funny that it's just like they all show up like. Nothing better to do. But I think I showed you guys that footage of those meth heads in my drive-thru at Wendy's. And how many cops there were that night. Really outrageous amount of police officers. And it's not like the 3 people that they were arresting were like resisting or, you know, making a scene or anything. Like they were totally compliant. So it was absolutely unnecessary for them to have like 10 cops in the Wendy's parking lot, all because these people are driving around in like a, I guess like it was probably like an unregistered vehicle or some shit like that. I mean, that's how they got caught. But I mean, you could tell they were on some shit. Like when they came through the drive-thru like that, I mean, they all looked like shit. They all had that meth face. But yeah, man. I love you. I love how you just like shoot videos of yourself eating chicken. Like, hey man, this is way more entertaining than watching a bunch of people just talk about politics. Like, to me, that's a little boring. Like, I can talk about all kinds of subjects. It's just that I'm always going to end up like going back to the ones that I'm most passionate about. Not just that, but stuff that's just, it keeps popping up, you know? You can't avoid it. I wish we could. I wish we could avoid politics, but unfortunately, it's infiltrated like everything, you know? And they've made it that way for a reason. Like, they want people to vote a certain way, and they'll vote a certain way if they think a certain way. They'll think a certain way if they're constantly subjected to all this bullshit, like through the media and through false advertising and through the schools and universities, all that. So I'm just really glad that I'm one of those lucky ones that knows that it all isn't real, you know? It's like, it's all a show, pretty much. Not to say there aren't real people involved, but I think that it's gotten to a point where these people don't even know that they're acting. Like, that's how conditioned they are. Like, oh my god, Taylor Swift? Jesus Christ. I was never really a fan of that bitch, but I think that she's talented. Now, there is a market for like the hokey wokey jokey PC police and pandering pansy candy ass crowd. I know that, but most people don't think like that. Most people don't want to put everybody into a box because most people don't want to be in a box. Most people don't want to think of themselves like, oh, I'm just a Democrat. That's all I am. I'm just a Republican. I'm just whatever. Because that's depressing, you know? Like, why would anybody just want to see themselves? Like, same with, like, what people consider to be identity politics these days, you know? Like, I'm just black, or I'm just white, or I'm just gay, or I'm just straight, or I'm just a woman, or I'm just a man, you know? Or I'm just a wannabe man, you know? Like, it seems like people just, they capitalize on certain aspects of their identity is just because they're insecure and it validates them to think about themselves in this particular vein, or do they do it they do it because they're trying to make sense out of things, you know? Which is why they get so heated if you suggest that it's not that important. Because, like, that's the vein that they're living under, you know? So it's like this idea of, like, being a victim, for example. Like, if somebody tries to tell you, like, no, you're not a victim. You actually walked into that hotel room. Oh, and you got paid, too, didn't you? How long ago was that? 15 years? We should laugh at that. We should laugh at that. Fuck these stupid-ass Bollywood phonies. They don't get to tell us what to do, all because they're the star of B movie after B movie after B movie after B movie. I really think that the reason why the celebrities are reacting to the president the way that they are is because the president used to be one of them. And so now that he's in the Republican Party, much to the Republican Party's dismay, it's like it just makes their brain explode. Well, let's not say brain, but just this idea that one of their own would, like, go against them. One of their own would, like, go against that programming and say, fuck that. I'm going to be the president and I'm going to work for the people. A lot of people think he's just in it for himself. You know, maybe I'm wrong about it. I'm pretty open-minded, though. So, that's the way you stay safe. Like, don't get too attached to ideas of people, because if you do, they'll let you down. I mean, I was reading something that Taylor Swift said, and I just thought it was really amusing. Because she was saying, like, oh, the Democrats need to stick together. That's what the problem is. Now, I think there's some truth to that statement. However, she's just assuming that, like, what she's doing is, like, lumping everybody in the same category. She's saying, like, all people that are on the left should just come together and just be one giant amoeba of democracy, you know, and we're going to take down this orange piece of shit and, you know, we're going to save the world. We're going to save the planet. We're going to save every child in America from a future school shooting. That's what we're going to do. That's our responsibility. Don't tell me to research. I'm not going to research anything. That takes time and effort. And it's time and effort that would be expended on a poster that I could make, and I could carry it outside of City Hall and scream a chant. And yes, that I need more time so I can do that. You know, I don't have time to look stuff up. You know. It's like, what do you do? There's nothing you can do about that. Like, you know that saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? Well, say you can lead a leftist to a library, but you can't make him read. Sucks. That's a whole free will thing. Like, a lot of people don't believe in free will. Like, they think that people are twisting their arm everywhere they go. And this isn't just whittled down to sexual assault. This is so many things. I mean, addiction's a really good example of that. And I'm not saying life ain't hard, and I don't understand people that want to check out of it. But I don't know. I'm lucky to have realized that if you keep checking out, whenever you check back in, you're going to have way more baggage. You know? That's the thing. They don't tell you that shit at the dope man's house. They don't tell you that shit at a liquor store. They don't even tell you that shit at rehab. I mean, they'll tell you, oh, you need to go to as many meetings as possible. Like, when I first got sober a long time ago, when I was like 21, they tell you to go to 90 meetings in 90 days. I think I went to like 150 meetings in 90 days because I was bored and it was my identity. You know, and I was in my early 20s, so naturally, I needed something that, you know, made me feel complete. And so I go to these meetings, and I would be validated. You think they're weaponizing like validation? Like they realize, like, oh shit, like this person gets some sort of high. Oh yeah, it's like it releases dopamine. Like, you know, when you get a like or like a thumbs up or whatever, it's supposed to release dopamine. So that's good news, huh? They knew this and they did it anyway. If that tells you what kind of like morally corrupt individuals we have selling us shit, and we're buying it. We're just buying into it. I mean, well, personally, I'm not, but a lot of people are. So if it seems like I'm really, really judgmental for no reason, first of all, there's definitely a reason. Second, people know this shit. They know what I know, and they still do what they do. That's why I don't understand. It's like, I know that if I lead by example, eventually people will follow my example. Eventually. And maybe it'll just be one or two people, but that's still one or two people that I helped. It's just like, I've never had a smartphone, so I guess I just don't, like, it doesn't, like, make any difference to me. Like, I mean, maybe if I got a smartphone and then I got, like, used to having it, and I got attached to Siri, which would most definitely happen, or Alexa or whatever, and then I was like best friends with my phone. That'd be so funny if you had like a comedy sketch about that where like you just Siri is my BFF, and it's like you take Siri to the mall, and like you take Siri to the salon, you take Siri to get your nails done. Can you do Siri's nails too? And you just like put the phone on and then the little like Asian lady, because they're always Asian, they're like, oh, I don't know how to. Oh, you figure it out. Figure it out. See, this is a stupid. It could go places. It really could. But where it's at right now is like Boise. But But yeah, it's like everybody's so attached to their phones. And it's not because they really appreciate them. It's because they don't appreciate them. And so, I mean, so many people feel entitled to so many things that it's just like, no, this isn't owed to you. You don't deserve anything. Like, this is so strange to me that people feel entitled to stuff. I used to think that was strictly an American trait, but I guess it's not. But I do think it's a result of having all this freedom. I mean, maybe we should be a communist state. Fuck. I mean, I don't want that to happen, but it seems like it's going that way. But here's the thing. People that are wrong, especially narcissistic people, will never realize that they're wrong. Like, they'll never see that it's their decision-making process. They'll never see that, like, they put themselves in situations. They'll never see that they're in the wrong sometimes. Unfortunately, I mean, and this isn't about politics. I mean, it's about fucking everybody. People do this all the time. They blame other people for the shit that they do. And I don't think it's just projection. I think it's like a severe lack of self-awareness that makes you project and assume that it's everybody else's fault but yours. Anyway, I should probably go back inside. No, I'm really fucking tired. See? Shouldn't have taken that break. But luckily, still have this big ass cup of coffee and an additional Coca-Cola product. So, I guess we'll see you guys later. But I'll miss you. Goodbye.